1 minute.
12:10.
Well, that means my phone's wrong too. Not only by Mickey, my phone's wrong.
It's not 11 o'clock or 15 minutes, 12.
15 minutes. Maybe I'll remember it.
Steve, let's get close to meeting the office.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the hour has arrived. I call this meeting to order. If you bow your head, I'll give the invocation. Heavenly Father, let our meditation and the principles and ideas and declarations that we arrive at be acceptable in your sight. Amen. Let's stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the agenda is before you, council. Any modifications to the agenda? We will not entertain a motion that we approve the printed agenda. So motion is made by Mr. Ramey and I believe seconded by Mr. Johnson that we approve the printed agenda. Any discussion about that? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Opposition? Our work is cut out for us. Okay, our council, we gave him a lot of homework, and as best I can understand, the counselor has got his homework pretty well in order. So, Counselor, we're going to turn you loose. I believe you've got item 1, item 2. Okay, item 1 and 2.
All right, based on what Andrea said that they were wanting to do, I undertook the research of the change in the licensing law that was passed and went into effect a couple of months ago. And she's wanting to do what's designated as a special event. And you can do a special event that we can pass an ordinance whereby we can give I'm going to call it a temporary permit for lack of a better description, but it's not really a temporary permit. Any business that has a pouring license can be allowed for a special event to pour and serve the alcoholic beverage for which their license provides off-site at the event site. However, they have to first get an alcoholic beverage caterer's license, which the city will issue to them, and that's good for 30 days. In other words, if there's going to be 2 events within 30 days, that one caterer's license will work for the 2 events. If it's in difference within 30 days, they're going to have to get back another caterer's license. Then they have to get a license for the event, and that event is limited to 3 days in a specific site. So just for an example, you have Company A that already has a pouring license, and you have, let's say, they call it the Cotton Festival. They'll have a Cotton Festival in a designated area downtown. And Company A could apply for an alcoholic beverage catering license for that month, that 30-day period, and then it could apply for an event license for that specific event, and we can grant that.
And you could have more than one.
More than one.
If they've another.
Yeah, you can have numerous licenses.
So if
numerous
they from
companies.
out of town, they have to have a license in the city.
Right, they have to have a pouring license.
In the city they live in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they have to buy these event licenses from us.
They have to buy the catering license from us and the event license from us. Now, understand again, the catering license is good for only 30 days. The event license is good for that 3-day event. And then there's certain other requirements that falls back on them as to what they have to do in terms of account for the sales.
Well, that's all in their local licensing area, where they have to report the revenue.
Right.
Yeah.
That will be contained in our ordinance that they have to do all that, but essentially, it can be done. I did not have it ready tonight because it's going to be a little complicated and have time to do that, but I will have it ready at the next meeting for the first reading plus applications for the catering license and an application for the event license.
Okay. That'll take care of what she wants to do, I think.
It will, because I discussed it with her,
All right.
I'm sure.
Okay, now then let's get into number 2 where we talked about, of course, I think we went ahead and issued the man approval for his license, but tell us what you found out relative to that. I think it's all done.
He has to get a license, just like anybody else. I think, we decided the license was $1,200. I think is what.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's what Kim
He
told
will
us.
buy that license and he can do
And y'all, and everybody's under the impression, and I do not, over the year's time, $1,200, that means his license will cost him roughly $100 a month, and if he don't sell enough gift baskets to merit it, you better not buy the license.
it. Correct.
Yeah, so that's pretty well, and of course, now, we approved that now, Monday night, did we not? Because he was in a hurry for it.
Tentative for legal.
Right, tentative of what he told y'all tonight.
Well, we need to bring it up now to make it permanent now. All right, let's do that now. I entertain a motion that we confirm the decision on the Flower Gallery's beer and wine license.
So moved.
Mr. Ramey has made the motion that we approve the applicant's license application. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion about this license?
Now that I asked the question, I'm very, very aware that everybody got to do the same amount of license. So that's what I was trying to understand the other night. So I think that's fair, that it's open for whoever, as long as they have that license.
That's right, that's good. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
No.
Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, the permit, the application is granted. Okay, folks, I had planned, and to call some of you and to try to get some cost estimates on our paving project that I want us to do right away. And I got part of it. I got over with Mr. Johnson, and he wants the whole city block paved. And so at any rate, to make a long story short, I sort of overloaded my rear end a little with all the other stuff I had going on. But this will not be delayed. We will get together and the figures of what we're trying to do with the funds that we've got will be done shortly. So forgive me, but I just didn't get it all together. Okay, we're on item number 4. All right, it's time whether that we set the millage. We can set it at what it's been for several years. We can reduce it if we feel like we're financially sound and don't need the money. In fact, I talked to one town, I think it was today, they said for the last 2 years they had reduced their millage rate for 2 years in a row, is what the lady told me. So they're going backwards, and then we can add to it. You know the financial struggles that we went through last year and having to establish a line of credit, and we used it too, because we paid it all back, and as we were supposed to do by law, we had to, and we did it. This year has been a real struggle. Had it not been for this CARES Act money coming in, we would have been in the red this year as well, but that saved our bottoms. And I think this is 4, 8, this is the 9th, I think the 9th year budget that I've been in the process of putting together. And every year it's a struggle of things that each department wants and needs, and the compensation for our employees, and it's revenue is we're starving for revenue many times. We're not blessed with a lot of industry inside of our town. The big one was Hazler's Mills, and that's almost dwindled down to maybe it may be 20% of what it used to be. I doubt it. These are rough figures, don't hold me to that, but our revenue situation has been sort of crucial for a long time. Sitting in when our accountant and payroll clerk and everybody comes in and says, Mayor, you got to get some money in the bank to meet the payroll this week. And then you're around struggling, trying to find out how payroll's gonna be met. Those of you that are in business and have done this through the years, you know what that's like. And it's certainly the same thing as the city. With that, there are times, starting now, when our revenue is on the incline. And now through our ad valorem tax collections that start up as soon as we get this millage rate set and we get the tax bills prepared and get them out, we'll begin to receive our ad valorem tax from now through the first of the year. And so right now, we're not hurting too bad. But there are times during the year when we dip down mighty low. Looking at this, I feel like as in trying to be a responsible mayor of this little town that I'm real pleased to be mayor of, I am going to entertain a motion. And by the way, back I don't know the history of all of our units of measure and the British pound and the English feet and inches and it's just very confusing. And then when you get into taxes, you talk about meals, and you say that you're getting 8 meals tax. Well, I want you to know that if we were to now, and I've talked to one town today that's beyond this, 10 meals of tax is 1% of your appraised value. So that if you go to 10 meals and your appraised value of your home is say $80,000, the taxable value is 40% of that, which would be $32,000, and 1% of that would be $300 and something, or 10 meals will be what 10 meals and 1%. But at any rate, since before all these years, a lot of your tax rates was 1 meal, then 2 meals, and 3 meals, and finally you got up to 1%, and that's the reason it was necessary that it be explained and represented in meals instead of percent, because it was a fraction of a percent. And that's the reason millage has been raised. Once you get up to where we are now, instead of saying 10 meals, you could say 1.23%, and 10 meals would be the same thing. But at any rate, you can do your math and figure all that out. But at any rate, having gone through this now for about 9 years of budgeting, I think that it's a nominal amount, and I'm going to let the council let their conscience be the guide. I'm not going to get upset either way, but I'm going to entertain a motion. I think it's my responsibility where I'm sitting. I'm going to entertain a motion that we increase our tax rate by 2 meals the coming year, and I entertain a motion to that effect.
I don't know that I am quite ready for a motion, Mr. Mayor. As you talked about, the CARES Act basically bailed us out this particular time. It bailed us out to the point that we couldn't even look at making payroll or paying our bills. That's just a gift. That's not, we hope we're not going to have the corona here to deal with for the next year, over this year. But either way, I don't think we're going to be bailed out. We've also, you talked about the city that reduced its millage. That might work too, if you can just order us one nuclear plant. That being said, the amount of revenue that you're looking at raising 2 mills is almost the equivalent of what we need to be able to collect on our past due water bills. And then I have one other thing that is 3 times the amount of money spent on a golf course every year. We need to look at a better way of managing our money and being able to protect our people. We're already taxed already. There are some people out there that don't even have jobs right now because of the coronas and all this other mess. But I don't know that it's appropriate timing right now to be able to do that.
Thank you, sir. All right, it's exactly developing as I had expected. I'm not at all alarmed. So now I entertain a motion to establish the millage rate so that we can get it in the paper, get these, we're mandated to publish it in the paper so that our citizens know what we're doing with taxes. And then in turn, once that's done, we've got to get our people that formulate the tax bills and get them printed. It's got to be done. So we're now in a position that I want us to, as a body tonight, to arrive at what the millage rate will be for this year.
When does this happen?
From your-
I'm sorry.
From your motion, from the 2 million you're talking about?
No, I've already paid that, there was no motion for that, that's dead. Now, I don't have any suggestion.
Okay.
You've got to set your millage tonight, it's your turn.
I'll make a motion that we set the millage rate tonight.
Okay, that's what we got to do, yeah, it's got to be done. What millage rate do you want to set it at?
I'll motion that the millage rate stay as it is.
Mr. Johnson's made the motion Mr. Johnson made the motion that the millage rate remain at 8 mills. Is there a second to Mr. Johnson's motion? Going once? Twice. Johnson, you're not having any better luck than I'm having. Okay, both my suggestion and Mr. Johnson's motion has died. Now, we'll try again.
The discussion time?
Yes,
Okay, the reason I'm saying what I did is because with what the mayor had said, and we talked privately with different ones among ourselves, let me make sure y'all can understand my heart. I think he has done an excellent job in managing the finance to try to keep it down, and I applaud it. But our peoples, the people of Jeff Davis County, the people of the city of Hazelhurst, they looking to us to tighten our belts, not to put no more on them right now. Each year we know that things gonna change, but with the way stuff is now, I don't think we know anything. And I hope this get back to the other board. Nobody should be going up on taxes. We living in a community where most of the people in Jeff Davis County is on fixed income. They're retired and that's it. Those that are working, thank God for the job that they got. We shouldn't put no more arm ratting on them now, y'all. Keep it like it is. Maybe next year you can gradually go up. We making it. As he just told you, it's a struggle, but they pay us to go through the struggle. So I would love for us to stay like that. And everybody that has authority over individuals should think about this before they make those decisions. Because you go up this year, you're gonna turn around, you go up next year, you got to have some sympathy for people that you're putting this on. Now, we're making it. The city is doing fairly good. And I think the mayor's doing a good job keeping the prices down, whether it's the garbage, whatever it takes to keep it down. Let's don't put it on our retired citizens.
I second what Mr. Johnson said about how well the mayor manages our finances, and he's for our city.
Yeah.
And he does a good job. I find myself in a place where you have good employees begging for more, and you have citizens screaming for no more. And just because I feel like just because our britches get too small, I have a hard time with asking the citizens to buy bigger clothes. I know the millage rate has to be set tonight. Or, let me rephrase that, it has to be set, but does it have to be set tonight?
Yes, it does. Yeah, the Board of Education and the county's already got theirs. We were supposed to submit ours at the same time, and we told them we couldn't do that until the night when we met. It's gotta go in the paper, and the tax bills have gotta be printed.
You have to submit everything, and there has to be 60 days that the citizens have to know about this before they can even print the tax bills. And we are walking a very thin deadline.
We're in the middle of a pandemic, and the future is so uncertain as to what is going to come about. It makes me fearful to have to increase the millage rate.
Well, the man on the far right down here just made a motion that we maintain it as it is and continue without raising
I
taxes
should have
this year.
seconded that, so
Well,
I
you-
apologize for not.
Mr. Johnson, would you like to restate your motion?
I offer a motion that the city of Hazelhurst tax millage stay as it is for this year.
That's at 8 meals. Down to Mr.
Yes.
Bloodworth.
Second.
And we've got a motion and a second that we not do anything with the millage rate for the city this year, that it remain at 8 meals. Any further discussion about this? I think we've discussed it to death. Okay, now I call for the vote. All in favor of the millage remaining at 8 meals this year, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The millage is set. That's what we needed to do. Thank you. Let's move along. Okay, council, what's the situation now on the housing authority combining the Lumber City and Hazel's Housing Authority? You ready?
We need to, y'all need to pass a resolution to have the public hearing, let the housing authority have the public hearing. And then after the public hearing, pass a resolution at the next meeting to consolidate. So
Okay, what you read, is that the resolution we
that's
need
the
to
resolution
pass
that was read last
Monday night?
Monday night.
Okay, lady and gentlemen, council, the resolution has been read before us. I entertain a motion that we approve the resolution to do the appropriate notification to combine the Lumber City and the Hazelhurst Housing Authority.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Bloodworth that we do so, seconded by Mr. Ramey. Any further discussion?
Yeah, just a question. When we consolidate like that, one time, if something happens to the housing authority over here, they have had to come before us and ask permission that they could do certain things in there. What about Lumber City now?
Lumber City will cease to exist. It'll be a new housing authority
So
called.
they would have to come before us?
No,
They don't exist
They don't
anymore.
exist anymore. It becomes the Hazelhurst Consolidated Housing
Okay,
Authority.
but what if something happened over there?
It's Hazelhurst Consolidated Housing Authority. It's one organization. It's being absorbed. It doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor of this passing the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the resolution is passed. We'll get the appropriate ads out to you. Do you do that now? Shannon out there will do all that. Okay, we'll get it. Y'all have authorized as a place for me to sign the thing?
Yeah.
Me and Madam Clerk will sign it and get it to Ms. Shannon out at the Housing Authority, and then she'll take the Lumber City one that's been passed just like it. They did the same thing we just done, and then they'll put forth all the ads and the criteria, and then we'll go from there. All right, let's move on. All right, Mr. Attorney, you're back on again with this, these folks putting the antenna on our
This
water.
was the proposal to put antennas on the Odom Street water tower, and their proposal was listed in the little letter memo that was before y'all Monday night. And my only concern was I wanted to reduce it to a legal contract, legal language. I did that, and I sent it to them as a draft. They approved it, but I didn't hear from them until late this afternoon, so I was not able to bring the actual lease here, but it essentially covers everything that they wanted in here. One thing I added was that either party could terminate the lease at the end of the year if they wanted to. Otherwise, it renews automatically if either side terminates it by September the 1st of each year. It increases in rent 3% each year. One thing they wanted added, which was not in this letter, I said I would put before the council tonight, they need some space in the building that's there at the foot of the water tower to house some electronic equipment. I said that was not in the original proposal. They overlooked that, but that would be added to the lease if the city is agreeable to do that.
We just have to find some place in our shacks, and of course now our shacks are gonna change shortly, I hope. But it won't be much of a problem to put up some kind of little panel or something they can and mount their little electronic paraphernalia to down there and out of the weather. Okay, you gonna notify them to, we're gonna prepare the lease and get it to them for
I
their,
just need to add that to it if y'all will approve it tonight.
or all those signatures that we need on that lease,
All we need-
local, are they all local?
All we need is yours, and there are two guys that's with it, Cheney and, what was his name?
Casey Williams.
Casey Williams and Tyler Cheney.
All right, the council entertain a motion that we approve the lease agreement that our attorneys prepared for us on the, this is the Odom Street water tower.
So moved.
Mr. Raymond made a motion that we approve the lease with, what's the name of the technology, what is it?
Southern
Southern
Technology.
Technology. Is there a second to the motion?
I say,
Second and third. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposition? We've got a new tenant with a lease on the Odom Street water tank. Okay, Madam Clerk, bring us some news from our health insurance.
I've been working on our health insurance diligently for about the last 3 months, and I've gotten a quote from our current broker. If you will look at your document that I included in your message or your packet, our insurance is going up with a 5% increase only this year. Last year, it was 7.25 or 7.5. So per employee, until the insurance runs out, is $1132.32. It will go up
1132.32,
0.32,
and it's going to
$1,200.76.
12,276.
That is $68.44 difference. Per employee per year, we will be paying $14,409.12, which is a total for 52 people, $749,274.
Repeat that, please, the last figure.
$749,274.
Okay, does that complete your report?
I will say this, Mayor, when I look at this, and I am working on another quote, we have to give them an answer by the 23rd on this. If our other competitor cannot bring us a better buy, we may have to call a meeting once I get that. I just want you all to be aware of it, that I am shopping to get another quote.
And we've done this a good bit over the last several years. I got knee-deep in it too, a year or two ago, as you well know. And according to what I understand, the agent that we're dealing with is going through GMA, Georgia Municipal Association. And the last time I dealt with going through GMA, and they looked at us and our claim and our insurance costs. They said, Mayor, you better stay where you are. Stay with what you've got. And I think you're gonna find that same thing now. But a lot of folks don't realize that if you've got an employee, we've got 52 employees in the city roughly, varies up and down a little bit. An employee, let's just use an example, or a mid-price employee that makes $30,000 is a salary or hourly wage is equivalent to $30,000 a year. This insurance cost, and dealing in round figures, is 50, his salary is actually, his or her salary is actually 45,000, not 30,000. They get their paycheck and get their money and the deductions all, because we pay another 15, round figures, we pay another $15,000 for health insurance for every one of these employees. And then just like the figure that she gave you, our budget just in providing health insurance for our employees is $775,000 a year. And I'm gonna tell you something, no one could be any more for the employees than I am, and I think they'll all vouch for that. I've tried, every time that we try to do something for the employees and make their life more pleasant, their work and everything else, man, I'm for it. I want us to do well. But let me tell you something, council, and make sure you hear me well. We cannot continue to do this. We cannot continue to provide total and the employee not participate. And I'm sorry. We are not strong enough. And plus, with health costs such as they are now, we cannot do it. We've either got to come up with something so the employee pays a portion of it, shares its cost, but we can't keep every month. I've been signing a check for right at $60,000, $59,000 every month going to health insurance for our employees. And now it's going to be 64, almost around $65,000 every month. And and I've already made some moves to try to begin to do something. I'm going to have probably a call meeting with some folks that tells me that they can save us some money, but it's going to be a modification of the insurance. And but at any rate, I'm going to try to continue to provide as much health coverage as we possibly can for our employees, but we've got to reduce this cost. We can't keep doing this.
At present, the employees contribute nothing toward the health.
That's right.
That's right. We pay every dime of that $750,000. Will be next year $750,000 a year. We can't afford it. But that's the unfortunate news, but it's a fact. All right, Mr. Fire Chief, why don't you come forward and go over your items that you've got here, 2 or 3 items. Let's see if we can get those approved for you.
Charles, as you walk up, I have been very concerned. Maybe this is out of ignorance, but it's definitely out of care. I see the things, and I trust you for everything that you would want to start with. I see that you're cutting corners, trying to be able to make it cost appreciative. The part of it in which I am highly concerned is like protective equipment, particularly that of the breathing apparatus. Even if we get the materials of the 4 turnout gears to improve, it's still not going to get us accredited and all of that kind of stuff that we might need. But the thing I am concerned about is that of the safety of our employees, and on the back burner of that, the liability if we do not protect our employees. You may know more and be able to inform me how the old pieces of equipment will still be functional in case of a fire and you've got to use these breathing apparatus. I've expressed my concern. Could you please address that?
Well, our breathing apparatus are still good for 2.5 more years.
Okay.
I have no issues with them. And at the time that they become non-compliant will only be the cylinders. The breathing apparatus, we have them every other year. We have a company, we just spent a $3,600 bill for them to check ours out, and they actually tested the breathing apparatus. They fixed anything was wrong with it. So we do that on you're supposed to do it every year. We try to do it every other year. and get them to come in and do that. The cylinder itself will have to be replaced at that point. Those cylinders, the carbon wraps are about $875 a piece. I would have to buy 24. But now if I can get a grant and get all new breathing apparatus, that's the ideal thing to do, because at the time they change, mass change, components change, so it's better to do that.
But Chief, do you have to provide all of your 24 with breathing apparatus? You won't have.
No, sir. We only have 12 breathing apparatus in the city. We have to provide 4 on each engine.
Okay.
So we have 4 on engine 1, 4 on engine 2, and 4 on the ladder truck.
Okay.
So we only have to provide those. Now, I think we do have a 5th one, and I think that might be a Campbell's on the ladder truck. So there might be 5 on the ladder truck.
Well, what you're telling me then is that when these breathing apparatuses do go in a year or two, and the 4 on each truck, you're going to go by about $10,000 worth of, to get a
Right, well, yeah, you have 24 bottles, because you have to buy 12 breathing apparatus, so you've got 12 bottles, and you have to have a spare cylinder for each one. So there's actually 24 bottles that have to be bought. But now, grant, hopefully we'll have the grant, we'll get that, we won't
Well,
have a problem.
that's what, we got more current issues to handle. Let's get with the current stuff you need.
What I need right
Thank you
now
for your answer.
is just, and well, I guess I'll go to that when we'll come back to number 8. Number 9 is to take and buy some turnout gear, some of the excess.
Coats and pants, as you told us Monday
Yes,
night.
sir. It will not be boots or helmets. Only if I'm only buying them if I have to buy them right now. If somebody comes up and says, my boots are, I'm having a problem with them, and I'll look at if I don't have anything in storage, then I'll try to issue them, I'll have to buy a pair of boots. I mean, I'm just forced to do that. But right now, we're just gonna try to do the pants and the coat.
Let's handle that just one item at a time. Now, this is going to use SPOS money, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, for 4 partial turnout gear apparatus, coat and pants, he wants to use, how much is the SPOS that you're using for that?
Be right at $8,000 to buy that.
Okay, he's wanting to use $8,000 for the partial turnout gear purchases he bought 4 last year, and this will be 4 more, that'll give him 8 in pretty good shape, and you've got some more as well.
And I really have the funding, we got the funding to do 5. I really like to do 5 instead of 4. The funding's there to do 5.
Friday, Monday night, you said 4, so I just remember.
Yes, sir. But I'm looking back at the figures, we have enough money to do 4 and do 5.
Okay, well, let's adjust it to that right now then. He wants to use SPOS money to handle 5 partial coats and pants. Do I entertain a motion that we allow the chief to do that?
Second motion.
Well, Mr. Johnson made the motion, I believe Mr. Bloodworth, did you second it?
Yes, sir.
Motion been made and seconded that we authorize the expenditure of SPOS money for that expenditure. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Art, you got that taken care of?
Let's go back to item 8, which is the warning siren, the $800 for the city, and hopefully $800 for the county.
Have you heard anything from the county?
No, sir, I probably won't hear unless we have a call meeting or we have, or their regular meeting, because that is, I went and talked to the county administrator, and due to the fact he's leaving, he said it would be better for me to go to the county commission for that.
All right, council, I'm going to recommend, sometimes we say contingent upon the county doing so and so. The units have got to be repaired, it's got to be done. I entertain a motion that the city pay half of the expense of repairing.
Make a motion.
Mr. Bloodworth made the motion that we pay the half expense is $800. There a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, a call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You got that one. Now you got one more.
Yes, sir, the last one is to send Caprice Hall to public safety educator class November the 16th through the 20th.
16th, that'll be just before our next meeting, so we, all right, you've heard the request there, and a motion that we allow the training from Fireman Hall.
Call for motion.
Mr. Johnson made the motion that we approve the training, seconded by Mr. Ramey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, a call for the vote. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
Thank y'all.
You got it done.
Appreciate it.
Council, I entertain a motion that we approve the review and vote on the minutes, the report to the council on the bills, the water and sewer adjustments and the check register. 11, 12, 13, and 14.
So moved.
Motion has been made by Councilman Rainey that we approve those items. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion about those items? Now, I've gone through a lot. That's the minutes, the report of council, water and sewer adjustments, and the check register. Not a thing you can do about any of it anyway. Motion made and seconded, isn't it?
Yes.
Are we ready to vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those items are taken care of. Citizens' comments. You've been mighty quiet back there, London.
I threw the hand up though, didn't I? I just want to follow up on the zone board members. Have y'all done anything on that I'm not aware of?
We've had 2 or 3 suggestions, and we haven't got it ready. I don't think we're ready. We've got one that Mr. Landon Chavis that was here. He's informally sent his request, in fact, it's dated today. I'd like to express interest in being appointed to the zoning board to fill one of the vacant seats. I look forward to being able to serve the city and make progress toward growth and development. I'd like to thank the mayor and council for considering younger candidates for the position, including us and our local government. It would be a pleasure to be an honor to be selected to serve. There's been one other besides Matthew. It's basically what I wanted to do is I wanted to let the council look over all of the people that are interested in it, and we'll try to get that ready for next month, if that's what y'all okay. Okay, Ron, is that all you got on the bill?
That's it.
Well, you're mighty agreeable tonight. No, Rhonda, we appreciate you and your interest in government and filming and putting our actions out for the people. That's a service that you provide that doesn't cost us a dime, and it's a good service, and we do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Let's see, did I ask you to remind me to do something?
No, sir.
I did.
No, sir.
That's good. Did you read this? Is that standard?
Pretty much.
It sounds like pretty much to me.
Mayor, I was going to ask you about something.
Okay, hold on just a second, I'm sorry. She says we signed the same thing last year. That's a heck of a thing to put John Henry on right there.
It's like, pay me but don't hold me responsible.
That's exactly right. In other words, you telling me that, of course, I don't think I got a choice, I think I got to sign it.
That's right.
Well, all right, okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
When y'all was talking, I know I'm salary, and I ain't never complained about having to work weekends and all, but the way things have been set up, that I'm gonna have to start working every other weekend. And, I've took the call and I've done the weekends, and I don't mind doing one long, but this is gonna be a consistent thing the way it's looking now, because you're down to 2 people at the plant. Now, I can't take off during the week to make the time up because my work's got to be done during the day.
All right,
If I get called out or something, if it rains, I'm out there checking the plant. If we get a storm or a bad wind, I'm out there checking the plant. If I get a call about water problems in town, I'll go out and check on it. But it's gonna be a little bit excessive if I have to start doing this every weekend.
I think we've got a little bit in the works that's gonna give you some relief.
Well, I ain't ranting and raving about it, but I just want to bring it up and
I think we may have you some relief, council working on it. We'll get our heads together and we'll try to help you with that.
Okay.
Okay, council, y'all got anything you want, your hard bearing on your mind? Except going home?
Your class call.
Matt, Councilman Leggett, everything going to suit you? All right. Everybody? Mr. Johnson's got a motion.
I'll propose that we all go home.
Motion made by Mr. Johnson and seconded by Mr. Bloodworth that we adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Oh.